Hey guys, this week I'm going to be updating my basement bathroom, and this bathroom has no mirrors. A space like this can be really hard to design, but I'm going to show you exactly what I do to make it look super luxurious. Let's go. Here's the plan. This is a total budget makeover, so we're not doing any major demolition. We're going to be adding wallpaper and shiplapping, changing out the mirror and light fixture, and just with those things, you'll see what a huge impact it can be. My goal is to complete this makeover in $500. I hope I can do it.
Did you know that your towel bar actually has this little tiny tab that you can remove your towel bar really easily? Like, I had no clue. Let me show you where. Right under here. Can you see that? This tiny tab, and you just press them on both sides and it pops off. So this isn't going to be perfect because you're not putting the wallpaper on top, but we'll just do a rough job.
Use P220 grit sandpaper to smooth out any of the bumps at first, and then just fill the hole with putty. You don't need to have a perfectly smooth hole, but it needs to be somewhat flush. The heat on this wallpaper is 20.8 inches. So what that means is that every 20.8 inches, the pattern repeats. So you can see that here, right? So if you take a look at this, right, this here, the top, it's kind of like the end of the red flower, and that would be down here. So that's like 20.8 inches. So if you want to optimize how much material you have, you cut it so that you cut it at one of the multiples of 20.8 inches. Otherwise, you get a lot of weird waste and leftover. So this is just like something good that you can do to make sure that you're like spending the least amount of money and you're having the least waste of your wallpaper. To make this easy for myself, I'm going to repeat the pattern about every 57 inches. It's not actually how much wallpaper will be shown on the wall, but this is just like how you can optimize your cuts, because it's basically like 28 multiplied by 2. So I'm just cutting a bunch of these panels down because we want the wallpaper installation to be fast. And I'm just checking every now and then to make sure that the flower pattern's actually going to line up.
I'm super excited to wallpaper. I love using wallpaper. It is such a great punch of color. And the best place to do, in my opinion, is a small room like this, a laundry room, a bathroom, a kid's room. So let's do it.
I'm using peel and stick wallpaper. I think this is a really great option for renters or if you're just installing wallpaper for the first time. We need to make sure that our walls are level. So the first thing you want to check is if the ceiling and any adjacent wall that you're going to be lining it up to is level. And as you can tell by my expression, mine are. So next thing I'm going to do is measure how wide my wallpaper is and then draw a level line. Now, when I use this peel and stick wallpaper, I just make sure that all the edges are going to be lined up there. And I overlapped onto the ceiling a bit, so you can see at the top there's like 2 inches overlap, and you just smooth it all the way down. You don't have to stick it like firmly yet, because once you do, it's kind of hard to peel it off. With peel and stick wallpaper, it's like a giant sticker, so you don't want to peel the entire backing off. Just peel off from the top corner and work your way down, and you can smooth it as you peel it off. It's also repositionable, so you can pull it off the wall a little bit and then stick it down again if you don't get that exact seam matched up. I've done a ton of wallpapering, and my best advice is to just be loose with it. Don't try and overstretch the paper or try and really get it to match up perfectly. When you step back, it's gonna look pretty close anyways. So just let yourself be loose with how you're sticking down the next panel. And I just have to say, isn't this looking amazing? Like, this wallpaper is perfect for this moody bathroom that I'm gonna be creating.
Oh my gosh, how good does this look? Now, I just want to show you something about this wallpaper. A lot of times when you're wallpapering, there's a bit of an overlap between the paper, like an inch or inch and a half. And that just helps you a lot because you won't get any of these like white gaps down the middle. This wallpaper doesn't have that, so let me flip it around and show you what I'm doing. Okay, so this is what I mean that there's no overlap. Like, basically, if you can see here, right, it's like wall right behind here. Usually you'd have like a wallpaper that overlaps like this much, and that's like much better, I would say. But what I'm doing is I'm actually pulling the wallpaper to this direction as I unpeel it. So I unpeel, and then I'm actually like you see, I'm pushing my hand this way instead of trying to smooth it out the other way, because I want the seam to line up and be as close as possible. So we'll just pull it in. Okay, and now that this seam, so this is the seam right here, is all closed up. Now I'm gonna go ahead and smooth this, but I'm also gonna keep like kind of pushing it this way. Like you can push it outwards too, but like I just wanna make sure the seam really closes up.
Underneath this wallpaper, we're gonna do a shiplap, but we need to pick the color first. So I got a couple of different samples from Sherwin-Williams. Thunderous is the wall sample that's already up, and then Link Gray is the one that my son here is applying. Guys, I'm a mom of 3 kids, and you will often see my kids trying to be involved in my DIYs, and I let them get involved where it's safe and they're low risk because I want them to grow up and be confident in their own skills as well. So here Sean's just applying a little bit of Link Gray, and I'm just trying to be cool while he does it. I think any parent can relate to this. You're trying to be cool, but actually dying inside. So here we've got our 2 colors. So I need to see how it looks with the door, okay, for sure. I also need to see how they look with the existing shower tiles. We're gonna change the curtains, so don't worry about that, okay? And then also, how does it look with the floor? Let me know in the comments which one you'd pick, Thunderous or Link Gray. When you're going in to do a corner around like where 2 walls meet, one thing that's extremely helpful is in the top corner where you know that you're gonna have the 2 walls meet, just to put some slits in. So this will just allow you to actually wrap the paper into that corner a bit tighter. Another thing you'll want to do, which I didn't do, is cut around the door frame. So just do like a rough pre-cut, make it a few inches bigger, but as you can see I didn't do that. And if you look to the right side of the door frame, you'll see that I missed a spot there because I tried to cut it once I was already hanging the paper, so it wasn't very neat. You can go in and actually add a strip after, which is what I ended up doing, but just save yourself the grief. For the other side, I actually ended up cutting kind of the strip there and then putting a second one on, which I think was easier. I was a little bit smarter this time, and I cut around the outlet when I got there with an X-Acto knife and not scissors. I think using the X-Acto knife is just a lot more precise. Alright, next up we are going to be removing this mirror, and I have removed I think 4 bathroom mirrors, and the thing that you always want to keep in mind is you gotta tape it up first. You gotta wear your safety gear because you don't want the mirror to come shattering down and for you to get injured. Usually it's actually not too hard, fingers crossed now that I've said that. So let's tape it up. If you've got clips like this, see if you can pop them off. So I'm just using a mallet and a pry bar here to see if I can get them off. Sometimes you can and sometimes you can't. Some of them also come with screws, so you just have to figure out what kind you have and try different things. I couldn't pry these off, but no worries. We moved on to try and remove the mirror from the wall. As you can see, I tried to add a shim behind the mirror because now we want to try and get the mirror loose from the actual wall, but it was actually too thick, so that's why I started out with a putty knife first. And you just got to work your way around the entire mirror, so try on all the different sides wherever you can fit either a putty knife, a pry bar, or a shim, and just work your way around slowly. This is going to take some time because you don't want the mirror to break. So go slow so that the mirror doesn't break. I had to remove part of the light fixture because I couldn't get the shim at the top and hammer downward, so I just removed the light bulb and then the glass dome around it as well. It's just a little screw cap that comes off super easily. After a lot of wedging, we finally got it loose. Here's what this kind of glue looks like. Just pausing here so you can take a look. We just cut it with an X-Acto knife, and then Avas was able to grab it and pull it off the wall pretty easily.
Okay, ready?
Let's go. You should be able to just lift it up. Amazing work! Woo! And the crowd cheers for him. You got it, Avas.
Where's this going? You did it.
You did it too. And you have to try and like peel some of this off, which is always a nightmare. Oh, let's see. Now, I know it seems tedious, but you have to repair some of the wall behind the mirror. And this is just because if it's too bumpy and not smooth, then it's gonna show through the wallpaper. So you don't have to do a perfect job, but you wanna make sure it's somewhat smooth. And also, you actually might not even have to do this if you know your mirror is gonna cover up that exact section. In my case, I'm using a really cool ornate mirror, so I don't think it's gonna cover up all of this damage. I don't understand why every builder puts in the same ugly light fixture above a vanity. Like, I'm sure all of us have this. Anyways, this is simple enough to remove. You just want to make sure that your power is off. That is really important. Safety first here. And then you are just removing the screws for the plate and also the wires. If you are not comfortable with electrical, always call an electrician. This is not something that you want to be doing if you don't know how to do it. One of the most frequently asked questions I get is, why do I like using peel and stick wallpaper? I think peel and stick wallpaper is actually really easy to work with. As you can see, you can peel it up and reposition it several times before it doesn't have its stickiness. I've never been in a situation where any of my peel and stick wallpapers have fallen down. So I just like that it has that workability to it and it's easy for one person to install. You also want to make sure you cut a hole out for your electrical light fixture. Now, be cautious. Don't cut too much because then if you do, it's just, there's no way to really recover it. So just start off by cutting small bits at first until you get the right size for your light fixture. This is super exciting. We are finally at the last panel for the peel and stick wallpaper. I'm just measuring it here up against the wall. I will leave 2 inches extra on the left-hand side. So just to make sure that, it fits perfectly. And then I'm gonna take it back outside of my bathroom because my bathroom is so tiny. I can't cut anything in here. And I'm just gonna fold it over and make that cut. And there we go, we are installing the very last panel of wallpaper in this bathroom. I have no concerns that this wallpaper is gonna fall down. I've bathroomed a wallpaper before and it has not been an issue. Here's an extra detail you probably haven't thought about. I wanted to wallpaper my light plate so it looks seamless with the wallpaper. So I first lined up the pattern on the wall and then I just cut out the wallpaper so it matched up with that pattern.
So I brought this faceplate and my wallpaper here because I wanted to make sure I get a good lineup of the edges. So I'm just kind of sticking it like this for now, and then actually maybe I'll do the other one too to just make sure it lines
up. Now that you have the wallpaper lined up, take a sharp X-Acto knife and just trace out the little squares for the light switches, and then you can just pop them right out. Oh, and don't forget that you have to line up the screws to go the exact same way if you're OCD like me.
Look at my floating head. It's really easy to trim the wallpaper. All you need is a straight edge and a sharp X-Acto knife. Make sure you've got a fresh blade. It's gonna make the perfect clean cut.
So this is literally the last step in wallpapering the bathroom, and I'm so excited because next week we are going to start installing shiplap in our bathroom. And I'm so excited because I know this shiplap feature paired up with the wallpaper is just going to be beautiful. So I can't wait to see you next time. Make sure you tune in and see how we shiplap this bathroom. If you have any questions about wallpapering a bathroom, drop them into the comments. I will also link this wallpaper because it's beautiful and I think it could be used in so many different spaces. I'll see you next week.